Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I am excited to bring back the 6x6 Fix series, and this time I'm doing it with Crafty Meggy. If you guys have not checked out her channel yet or her video for this day's collab, definitely check it out, link down below. And every week, well every other week, we're going to be doing essentially a layout that features 6x6 paper pads. Now I'm going to try to not use any other 12x12 papers other than my background, but we're doing different techniques every time to try to give you guys ideas and so that we can use our 6x6 paper pads a lot more. So in this episode in particular, I'm trying to use my paper pads in a way that kind of helps dress up my embellishments and dress up the page. Now, one of my favorite techniques to do is use two 6x6 pieces to create a 12x12 or a 12-inch band across my page. So I picked out those two diagonal rainbow stripe pieces and put them down there. Now, I'm mixing and matching 6x6 paper pads. I know a lot of people have, a 12x12 and a 6x6, or you have the collection and a 6x6 paper pad. So that's great, but a lot of times I just buy the 6x6 paper pad. So there's a lot of mixing and matching that needs to happen in order to make the magic happen. So the background paper that I pulled out is from a paper pad I got for Christmas, a spring market paper pad from Craftsmith, which I really love, and I'm glad I'm finally getting to use it. And these photos are from my Disney 2016 album. These are photos of a statuette that's at Castaway Cay, which is Disney's cruise island. So if you go on a Disney cruise, you usually stop there. Here I'm taking one of the yellow papers from the Bo Bunny collection and just cutting a little strip. So I didn't want to use washi tape when I knew I could use 6x6 papers, so I did that. So you'll actually notice I don't layer anything underneath my photos besides that main band. Obviously that's what a lot of people use 6x6 papers for, is layering underneath their photos, but I'm trying to show you new ideas and ways to use your papers that are a little bit more outside the box. And I'll use more and less depending on the episode, and so will Meggy, but I hope you guys do enjoy this new, well, this brought back series for me, but it is new for her. And I'll have the 6x6 Fix playlist link down below in case you haven't seen the past episodes. I used to do this a lot more often, and I have some really great ideas on there, so I'd really love it if you checked the rest of those older videos out. So I put down that rainbow paper, and no, it doesn't match perfectly on the middle seam. The patterns just wouldn't work, but it gets covered up anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. And here I just cut a doily in, I don't know, 1/3 and 2/3. Originally I was going to use it at the top and the bottom, but I decided just to use it at the bottom to finish off the cluster I had started. I actually put way too much adhesive on it, and there's just adhesive all over my hands at this point, which will become a problem later when I try to add some finishing embellishments. So you can see those two yellow strip pieces put together sort of look like a strip of washi tape or a strip of 12x12 paper, which is kind of what I'm going for, just another base piece for the photos to sit on so they don't feel like they're floating. And I did intentionally put the doily off center. I wish I put it a little bit more off center probably, because the way that my die cuts end up fitting on there is not the greatest. And I do apologize for being a little bit off camera. I do have to adjust my camera setup a little bit so it fits better to where my arms actually work. But this is my new craft mat that I'll be crafting on. And if you guys are not over on Patreon, you won't know that I did rearrange my craft room. And if you want to see it, you can check out over there, but I will be doing a craft room tour on here next weekend. So stay tuned for that and subscribe if you're not already so you don't miss out. I already pulled out some of these Echo Park pieces, Sand, Sun, or Sea, Sand, Sun, the sandcastle one, which I thought was cute because Olaf is standing on a pile of sand and he has a bucket, and then another one about sunshine. What I decided to do is dress up my die cut. So I bring back this yellow paper, and I'm going to try to create my own DIY tab with it. Now, I will say I'm not a master at these kind of things, and I know that you could use like a punch board for these, or maybe a paper punch that you have. But what I end up doing is cutting it a little bit too short, but it still works, and my die cut will fit on top of it. And again, just kind of dressing that up with our 6x6 paper pads. And I also have those little pieces that I cut off of that border piece, or that border paper rather, so that it looks, a little bit more dressed up there. So I use that scalloped one later. At this point, I know I need something underneath my yellow tag here because there's two yellows touching directly, and it just kind of fades into one another. So I grab another 6x6 paper, Great for scraps as well, I just didn't happen to have the colors I needed, and trim that down with my trimmer so there's a little border edge around it. No, I don't pierce the hole through again, you definitely can, but I would never plan on putting anything there. Maybe I should have put a bow there. I don't know, depends on your mood and what you like, but I just left it as is. And again, that helps it pop off the yellow instead of two yellows being next to each other on this page. So as we move along, you can kind of see the layouts coming together. I've glued down a lot of things. The middle photo is on foam adhesive, which I didn't mention when I was doing it, but you can kind of tell that there's a bit of a raise there. And yes, I could have put all of my photos on 6x6 papers, but I think that's a cop-out for using 6x6 papers, and there are other ways we can use them. So I pull out these pink Fresh Studio Alphas that I dislike a lot because I hate multicolored alphabets, and start to make a title that just says Olaf. I could have used one of the other pieces as my title piece, but I thought that this was fine in terms of, you know, adding a bit more color, a little bit more fun. I thought I might have a pink alphabet that would work, but I did not find one. And here I need to add some foam underneath this tag so that it's on the same level as the photo that it's overlapping with. And that's always a puzzle for me because when you flip it over, obviously things are reversed. So I usually lay it on top and then flip it over so I can see where to put it. And that's always great when you have items on foam that match your layer that is on, like a photo, for example, because it helps identify the important items of a layout. I end up moving my title up to here. I don't really love this title or anything, I just really wanted Olaf's name on the page because I just thought it would add a little bit more Disney to the page. And it's hard to do Disney cruise pictures, which I haven't seen a lot of in scrapbooking, to be honest, because you want the Disney theme, but you also want like the nautical and cruise theme, and it's hard to mix both. So here I just went for the tropical, you know, fun theme, bright colors, fun puffy stickers, and that was pretty much it. I didn't go super Disney on this one, which I prefer sometimes because, as you guys know, I will be actually scrapbooking a ton of Disney now that I live in Florida. But for now, I think I'll go with the tropical rather than the Disney-esque because Disney gets a little bit old and a little bit tried and true, especially in my album, I think, especially since I mix it back and forth, to be honest. If you guys haven't seen my 2016 Disney album pages, I'll have my Disney playlist linked down below, so you guys can check out everything that I've made so far in my Designing Disney series. This one will go on this playlist too, just in case you guys are super into Disney, but mostly it's a 6x6 fixed paper, or layout rather. And here's where I pull out a bunch of sequin mixes now. Sequins are great, I love them, but somehow I forgot that I have glue dots specifically for sequins, so I end up gluing down a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of sequins with just using my fingers, which takes me forever. So I do apologize for that, but I did want to show you guys this technique and to give you a realization of how long this layout took. This is sped up 4 times, so it took me over an hour to do this entire layout, which is kind of long for me. But again, I started doing this detail work with these Spiegelmop scrap sequins where I started doing a border of them, which I think adds so much to a layout, which is why I do it so often when I pull out my sequins. That yes, it takes forever. Yes, there are faster ways to do it, but I kind of like the way the glue disappears, whereas if you had a strip of glue perhaps, some of it would stick out, you'd kind of see through it. But like white glue here, like my Scotch Quick Dry, tends to simply disappear. But I hope you guys like the idea. I know several people have done this before, but if you haven't tried it, it does seem like a painstaking process, but it's kind of fun to grab sequins and line them up. And again, you could use a tape adhesive, one of those like red line tapes that's a lot thinner to put your sequins on to save you time, but I think it adds a lot to a layout without having to think too much about it. And I also use some yellow and dark blue sequins to add pops of color. And I don't use rainbow that often, but when I do, I often tone it down with just picking out like 2 or 3 other colors. So this one's pink, yellow, and blue for the most part. And those Jen Hadfield puffy stickers really add a lot more vibrancy to this without adding too much extra splashes of color. A little bit of pink here and there, some more green, and I just like the adorable puffy sticker part of it. But here's my finished layout, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out Meggy's link down below because you don't want to miss out on her layout this week. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're excited to see 6x6 Fix back and get ready to use your 6x6 paper pads. So here are the close-ups. I hope you enjoyed Olaf, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye guys!